If you ever drive through northern Arizona at night, you'll notice something strange. It's not just empty. It feels unfinished, like the world ends just beyond your headlights. That's where I took the job. The listing was short. Night shift clerk. The 2080 Tavi here. Remote location. Immediate start. Housing provided. No company website. No reviews. Just a phone number. I needed money. I didn't ask questions. The GPS signal died 20 miles before I reached the station. After that, it was just highway, desert, and darkness stretching in every direction. Then I saw it. A single gas station sitting alone under a flickering sign that read, Last NCE. JS and Mart. 2 pumps. 1 building. Nothing else for miles. When I stepped inside, fluorescent lights hummed overhead. The air smelled like old coffee and dust. Behind the counter stood a thin man in his late 50s with tired gray eyes. He asked, "Yeah, I'm Frank." He didn't shake my hand. He slid a folded piece of paper across the counter. Read it. Follow it. At the top, NIGHT IFT, RALS 10 feet ODRD PM to 60 HODRD AM. I almost laughed. Frank didn't. "You follow those," he said quietly, "or you won't last." There was something in his voice that made me stop smiling. He grabbed his keys. "Lock the door at exactly 10. And don't let them convince you." "Convince me of what?" I asked. But he was already walking out. The desert swallowed the sound of his truck. I unfolded the paper. Lock the doors at exactly 10 FODD PM. Not earlier. Not later. Do not open the door for anyone after 10 PM. If a white sedan pulls into pump 2 between 12:30 will lenses letterd AM. Turn off all lights and hide. Do not look at the driver. At 20:17 AM. You may hear 3 knocks from the storage room. Do not investigate unless the security monitor shows movement at pump 1. If the bathroom light turns red, other side. Lock yourself in the freezer for 90 seconds. If someone calls your name from outside, do not respond. If the radio turns on and plays whispering static, unplug it. If whispering continues, leave until sunrise. Do not make eye contact with anyone who does not blink. If a customer asks, "Is this the last stop?" reply, "Only if you want it to be." If Rule 9 happens twice in one night, quit. It had to be a joke, right? 100 odors a PM. I locked the door. The click echoed too loudly. For the first hour, nothing happened. Just wind scraping sand against the windows. Then, at 11:41 PM, headlights appeared. An old pickup truck rolled into pump 1. A tall man stepped out wearing a cowboy hat. He tried the door. He knocked 3 slow knocks. I held up the CLOSEDU sign. He leaned close to the glass. That's when I noticed he wasn't blinking. Not once. Rule 8. My stomach tightened. I looked down immediately. The knocking stopped. Silence. I counted to 5 and looked up. The man was gone. The truck was gone. The lot was empty. I rushed to check the cameras. Nothing. No truck. No headlights. Just an empty parking lot. My heart was still racing when the bathroom light flickered. Then it turned red. There was no red bulb in that fixture. Rule 5. I ran behind the counter and jumped into the freezer, slamming. The door shut behind me. Dark. I started counting. At 20 seconds, I heard footsteps inside the store. Slow. Dragging. At 40 seconds, something brushed against the freezer door. At 60 seconds, whispering began. Daniel. My breath stopped. I never told Frank my last name. Daniel opened the door. The voice changed. It sounded like my mother. Honey, it's cold. My chest tightened. It sounded exactly like her. But she lived thousands of miles away. 80, 9, 90. I threw the freezer door open. Silence. The bathroom light was white again. The store hands were shaking now. The rules were real. 1:20 V36 AM. Headlights. Pump 2. Rule 3. I turned off the lights instantly and crouched behind the counter. The car door opened. Footsteps approached the glass. The door handle rattled violently. I squeezed my eyes shut. Then came a single tap on the glass. Right at eye level. Minutes passed. Then the car door closed. The engine started. The sedan drove away. I waited 5 full minutes before standing. When I turned the lights back on, the gas nozzle at pump 2 was hanging loose, dripping onto the pavement. I checked the camera. The sedan had no license plate, and the driver's seat was empty. 2:17 AM. 3 knocks echoed from the storage room. Slow. Deliberate. I checked the security monitor. Pump 1 camera flickered. For a second, I saw a tall shadow standing there. Its head bent at an unnatural angle. The storage room handle began turning slowly. The radio suddenly turned on. Static, then whispering. Last stop. I unplugged it. The whispering continued. Rule 7. Leave until sunrise. I grabbed my keys and ran outside. The desert air felt wrong. Heavy. I locked myself in my car. At 30:03 AM, the white sedan returned. Something stood beside it. Tall. Watching the building. Watching me. It didn't move until sunrise. And neither did I. Sunrise came slowly. The motorcycle was gone. The shadows had retreated. The desert looked normal again. Too normal. At 6:07 a.m., I saw headlights in the distance. Frank's truck. Relief flooded through me. Until he stepped out. He moved stiffly. Like something wearing him. He walked inside. Didn't blink. Rule 8. My chest tightened. You made your choice, he said calmly. That wasn't Frank's voice. It was layered. Multiple tones speaking through one mouth. Where is Frank? I asked. The thing smiled slightly. He chose to leave. Then why are you still here? Its smile widened. He didn't understand the rules. A cold wave ran through me. What happens if someone leaves? I asked carefully. The thing tilted its head. They don't get far. Silence filled the store. The highway shimmered in the rising heat. You can go, it said. But someone must remain. I looked at the desert, at the endless road, at the sign flickering outside. I thought about staying, about helping lost souls, about doing something meaningful. Then something clicked. The woman in the minivan. The child-shaped shadow. The biker. They weren't confused. They weren't lost. They were being pressured. Given fear. Given manipulation. Given a false choice. This wasn't a checkpoint. It was a funnel. And I was about to become part of it. What happens? I asked slowly. If no one answers the question. The thing's smile faded. For the first time, they wander. Or they wake up, I said. The lights flickered. The air grew heavy. You misunderstand your role, it replied sharply. No, I whispered. I think I finally understand it. The rules weren't there to protect me. They were there to train me, condition me, make me obedient. Every night I survived made me less afraid, more compliant, more useful. You need someone behind this counter, I said. Silence. The desert wind howled outside. The thing wearing Frank's face slowly stopped smiling. You will stay, it said. It wasn't a suggestion anymore. The door locked on its own. The windows darkened. The Tunzide Ozard p.m. 9:58 p.m. 9:55 p.m. No, I said. Stepping back, the radio turned on. Static filled the room. Then whispering. Dozens of voices. Stay. Stay. The storage room door burst open. The bathroom light turned red. The freezer door swung wide. All the rules triggering at once. Overload. Panic flooded my chest. You can't leave, the thing said. But I wasn't listening anymore. I ran. Not to the counter. Not to the freezer. Not to hide, I ran for the door. It wouldn't open. The handle wouldn't move. The whispers grew louder. The shadows outside pressed against the glass. You belong here, the thing said calmly. I grabbed metal, stool near the counter, and slammed it into the window. Glass shattered. Desert air rushed in. The whispers turned into screams. I didn't hesitate. I ran. Across gravel. Across sand. Toward the highway. The sign behind me flickered violently. Lasty. Can't see guessin' Mart. The letters began going dark one by one. I didn't look back. I reached the road. A car was approaching in the distance. Headlights cutting through morning light. I stood in the middle of the highway and waved my arms. The car screeched to a stop. A man inside rolled down his window. You okay? He asked. I nodded frantically. Yeah. I need a ride. There's something wrong back there. He frowned. What are you talking about? I turned. The gas station was gone. No building. No pumps. No sign. Just empty desert. My stomach dropped. That's not possible, I whispered. The man looked confused. You must have walked a long way. There's nothing out here for miles. My breath came fast. Had it followed me? Had it let me go? Or, where are you headed? He asked. I swallowed. Anywhere but here. He hesitated, then nodded. Jet in. I climbed into the passenger seat. As we drove, I tried not to look back. Tried not to think. Tried not to hear the faint whispers still echoing in my head. We drove in silence for a few miles. Then the man spoke. You look like you've seen something. I gave a weak laugh. You wouldn't believe me. He smiled slightly, then asked, Is this the last stop? My blood turned to ice. Slowly. Very slowly. I turned toward him. He wasn't blinking. Outside the window, I saw it, in the distance. A familiar flicker. Less THANCE, Jess and Mart. Standing exactly where it had been before. Waiting. The man's smile widened. Lee, if you want it to be, he whispered, and this time, the car doors locked.